Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and I'm so excited to be back for our second sketch-inspired One Sketch, Two Ways with Vanessa and Lisa. This is the sketch that we're working with this week, and if you remember, last week we did a one-page sketch where Vanessa created the one-page layout from it, and I created a two-page layout. And this week, Vanessa is... we have a two-page sketch, and Vanessa's going to work on a one-page layout, and of course I'm going to do the two-page layout. So I have had this paper from Moxie and these stamps from Color Play for quite a while, and when I saw that Vanessa did a Harry Potter layout last week, I knew that I had to also do a Harry Potter layout. So Kevin and I went to a Quidditch game. There was a Quidditch game here locally that we went to, and that's what these pictures are from. So I started out with Basil Bling black cardstock, and I didn't like the way that looked, and I didn't want to waste it. I liked the regular black on the instead, and I didn't want to waste it. So I pulled out just some regular black cardstock instead. And I really like this brick paper. However, the train is not going to work for me, but I will cover that up, and you won't even see it at the end of the photos. So I'm using this red and white diamond, kind of checkered, but in diamond shape paper for the banner piece. So I have done the sorting hat online, and I am a part of the Hufflepuff house. So I tried to incorporate as much yellow in this layout as possible. So I pull out my notebook punch because I wanted that element, the side piece of the element on that banner strip, to have a notebook edge, and I can never cut these border punches no matter what they are. I always end up missing one or two, so I just turn it over and cut out what I miss on that. And then I'm just going to cut this smaller because it's just going to go right behind that red and gold paper. So here I am trimming it up, and I'm just using a pencil to figure out where I want it to land so I can cut out the each end of it. And then I'm going to glue everything down. And I actually don't have you guys watch me glue everything down. I think I just ruffle up these edges and then show you what it's going to look like here. And then this is where I pull out the cards, cut-aparts for the cut-apart sheet. And I see this small strip, you'll see it right here when I cut it out, of just a line of brooms. So I had two sheets of the cut-aparts, so I cut out one for each, from each one of the sheets. And I layered that on the bottom. So that shows that first layer. It's a lot thicker in the sketch. It's like that dark gray color. But I really wanted to use those brooms, so I added those behind the paper. And then, actually, when I put the photos in and everything, you can't even see it. So I'm using this Distress ink from Tim Holtz Frayed Burlap. And I really liked this color because the places that I use it, which is on that yellow paper, I distress all my paper, and then I used a lot of it on that yellow, kind of reminds me of like old paper, but it just gives it a tone-on-tone color, because I will stamp a couple of things on there as well. So this is where I have glued everything down, and as you can see, I had put the train upside down because I knew that I was going to have my photo right there, so I just covered up that train with that. So I backed all of my photos with white cardstock just to give it a little offset from the busy paper that's on this layout. And then I fiddle and fuss with the photos and trying to figure out where they want to go, or where, because what I realized is that the photos were very close to the edge, and I really liked that they overlapped that piece. So I think that what my mistake is that I didn't cut the paper large enough, that like old paper look large enough. So this is where I realized that I needed to cover up that train. And I'm also using fun foam. I use fun foam on the picture of me and my boyfriend, as well as the picture of this Quidditch cup. And I actually got this picture online, I think from their Facebook page. But this was the US Quidditch Cup 10. It was hosted here in Kissimmee, which is about an hour or so from where I live. And I mean, it's the 10th Quidditch Cup, so they've been doing this for 10 years, and I had no idea that they were doing this. And they had a lot of teams out there playing. So there's the one that's above me, the photo that's above myself and my boyfriend, that also got online. Because when I took the pictures of the one that's on the right-hand side of the page, that's also the Quidditch rings, but it just didn't look as well as the ones that were online. So I cut out this 3-inch circle, and I tried to use the Hufflepuff colors, but it just didn't look right. So I used the black and gray brick, and I actually ended up covering up, I think that was a lamppost on that circle, but I ended up cutting it out. And then I used my banner punch to cut out one color from each of the houses to add to the top right hand corner. And this wasn't in the sketch, or it kind of was, but it was closer to the photos, so it would have been closer to the Quidditch Cup photo, but I actually liked it better up in that corner. So now what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to add something to the top of the banners to kind of connect them together. And so I find this piece here, and I'm actually going to fussy cut it out. And I hate fussy cutting, but that broom just worked so much better being fussy cut out. So not only do I fussy cut it out, but I back it on white cardstock and fussy cut that out. I was really crazy that day because I don't know what I was thinking. And then I put fun foam behind that. So then I had to cut that really thin as well. So I love the way this page turned out, but I did a lot of things on this page that I don't normally do. So then I'm going to use these Ellie Studios puffy stickers in gray to spell the word Quidditch. And actually, I misspelled the word Quidditch. As you can see here, I left out the C. And it takes me a while to realize that it's misspelled, even though it's like on the next page. Like right there, you can see that I had the photo out so that I could make sure that I spelled it right, and I did not. So I cut down the tag and added on, and then I'm trying to figure out what to do with the little hole there. I didn't want to add like string or yarn or anything like that because it just didn't seem to go with this page. So I pull out my stamps, and I have this is a Memory Keepers. We Are Memory Keepers. It's very similar to the Tim Holtz stamp platform. It's just a little 6x6, and I actually won this because I am not a big stamper, and so I never seen the reason to purchase the Tim Holtz one. But since I won this one, I was like, oh, I'll try it out and see. And I actually really like it because you'll notice that I stamp several times all of my images. And this is a brand new stamp set. I actually got this at the Scrapbook Expo this year. I just picked it up a couple weeks ago. And so I was just using a little rubber mat because my image didn't come out very well. And then I used my 3/4 of an inch punch to cut it into a circle. And I think I ink up the edges as well, and then add it onto that little hole, so it looks really well on that tag. So then the next thing, I was trying to figure out something else to add, since I covered up a lot of those brooms. And so what I end up adding is I have this stamp, and this is what I was telling you about before, where because of the color of this ink, it just looks like a tone-on-tone color onto it. It almost looks like a watermark on the paper. So I just do a whole line of the brooms, and then I realized I wanted kind of like a second line, and the stamp platform wouldn't work for that, so I just pulled out a little block and used that. And then I used this image of a Quidditch player in their robes on their broom. Looks like they're flying, so I added that to the top there. And actually, when I added it to that dark part, it doesn't even show up later. Like, it kind of fades a little bit, and you can't even see it. I'm looking at the layout now, and it's hardly even there. You can't tell it's there at all. So then I pulled out this Project Life card, and I used the ink again, this distressed ink again, to make it, because the Project Life card is like stark white, so I used the ink to kind of give it a little bit of an old paper look. And then I wanted to back it on the Hufflepuff colors, because again, trying to get those in there. So I write out my journaling, and my journaling is just really simple. It just says, Kevin and I didn't even know that the Quidditch was a game that was actually played. So when we saw that there were tickets for the U.S. Quidditch Cup 10, we knew that we had to go. And you can tell where I scribbled a little bit on the last line there. But I figured that I could find a way to cover it up. So after I put it down, and I kind of put it in between the notebook paper, so it looks like it's kind of behind and in front of the notebook paper. And as you can see also off camera, I think it's when I was doing my journaling is when I realized that I had spelled it wrong, so I just redid that tag. So this is where I'm trying to find something to cover up that little mistake that I made. And so what I ended up doing was using another, that stamp that I had used before, which is the Quidditch player. And I just stamped it on some white cardstock and then fussy cut it out again. And again, I don't know what I was thinking with this page in regards to fussy cutting, because that is just not something that I like to do. So I cut that out because I'm sure that you guys don't want to see somebody fussy cut. But when it lines up on that, on my journaling block, you can't even tell that I was trying to cover something up. So I show you a close-up of it, and you don't even know. It actually looks like it's part of the journaling box. So then I add this tag that says magical, and I am going to cut out this the old paper again to make these strips, and then add my date to that. So I want you guys, remind you guys that Vanessa's channel is up and running. She's actually was on the ball this week and got this stuff, hers up this morning, and mine is being posted late tonight, and I'm sorry about that. But I wanted to make sure that I was able to get it up for you guys today. So I have some close-up close-up pictures for you, as well as the full shot of the layout. I'll have the links below to Vanessa's channel, as well as to this paper where you can find it. And I hope that you guys have a scrappy day. Thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button.